And you can get the Back to Karkand expansion pack at no extra charge when you pre-order Battlefield 3 before its release.
Weapons are fairly essential in a shooter like Battlefield 3. Understatement. So let's talk about guns, and where better to do that than at a firing range. I'm at the target shooting range here in Stockholm to speak to Battlefield 3's lead weapon designer, Alan Kurtz. Lock and load.
I'm Alan Kurtz, lead weapon designer on Battlefield 3.
So, Alan, without weapons, there would be no Battlefield 3. So how do you decide what weapons get into the game?
We're going for a really kind of authentic feel with Battlefield 3. So the big thing that we're looking at is what guns are actually being used by armies. And obviously we have the Marines in Battlefield, so first thing we did was go and look for the Marine weapons. But we also want that little bit something extra special because fun is still really important in Battlefield. So we went ahead and we went and looked at other forces and said what sticks out, what looks cool, what looks unique, what fills a role that we don't have, and we went and we picked those guns and we brought those into Battlefield as well.
So once you've chosen the guns, how do you get that authenticity across to the player?
Obviously our players are using a controller or a mouse and keyboard, so our focus is really on let's get the guns that they look right, let's get the guns that they sound right, and then the feeling of the guns is really important for us as well. The gun needs to kick in your hands, you need to really feel like it's alive, and we can do a little bit of that with rumble and things like that, but really that comes through with the animation in the gun, so the gun moves right, and if you were to pick one of these guns up and use it yourself, you get that same feeling when you use the gun in our game.
Now that must take a lot of research. Do you go out and try them yourself?
Yeah, so we've been out with the Swedish Army, we've been on maneuvers with them, we also have some military advisors. They come in and they sit down with us and say, well, here's where we'd use this gun, and this is why you use this gun. So
what's your favourite weapon?
I actually like the G3. It's an assault rifle, it's got a 20-round mag, it's big ammo, but it kicks like a mule, so it's a lot of fun. You got to really learn to master the gun, and that's what I'm looking for in a game.
So, Alan, if Battlefield 3 is your first Battlefield game, what's the weapon of choice?
So I'd go with what the US Marines use. It's the M4 carbine. Doesn't kick real hard, it's pretty easy to control, not the biggest damage, but it lets you really get on your feet, understand the battlefield, and you can move on to bigger and better things from there.
Now, I've heard quite a lot about this physical warfare pack. Can you tell us anything about it?
Right, so we picked 4 items that we felt really kind of represented the physical battlefield. So we've got the Type 88, it's a machine gun, it's belt-fed, big clip, it's got a bipod. So it means I can set it down on a surface and I can just really own that area. And that's really important to us because that's a supported shooting idea is a really cool concept in Battlefield. Then we've got a classic Battlefield gun, the Dow 12. This is a shotgun, it was in BF2. And it's a 12 gauge, 12 rounds, big magazine, really great for clearing a room. And to go with that, we've also got a special kind of ammo for our Dow 12 called the flechette round. And the flechette round, it just tears through things. If you got thin wood or thin metal, even another player, it'll go straight through them. So at close range, you're going up against multiple people, or you think you got somebody on the other side of a fence, you want the flechettes. Then the last thing we did is we really looked at said, Battlefield's about team play. And we really wanted an item that was going to take one of our classes and put it into a team play role that it doesn't traditionally afford. Yeah. So what we did is we looked and we said we can put a flash suppressor on one of our sniper rifles, the SKS. Yeah. And the SKS is kind of a mid-range gun. It lets that sniper get in close with his squad, be there with his squad, be a team player, and work with all of the other players on his team. It helps him stay stealthy in that close range, but it's also completely unique to this physical warfare package.
We're all really excited about how good Battlefield 3 looks, but it all started back in 2002 with Battlefield 1942.
Let's see how the game has changed as the years have rolled by.
Creative director Lars Gustafsson has been developing the Battlefield games for over 12 years. After showing me some original concept drawings for Battlefield 1942, he took some time out to talk about the defining moments in the evolution of Battlefield. So why choose 1942 as the first setting for the Battlefield games?
It was a mixture of the levels we looked at and kind of finding a good mix and match out of the different areas we chose. At that time it was mainly running and gunning. We promised a lot and most people said we wouldn't deliver, and happily, barely, we managed to get it out, and it was really new with 64 players and all these vehicles and everything.
So then you moved to the Vietnam setting.
We had been itching to do that setting, and it was made by our Canada studio and really managed to capture that, you know, Vietnamish feeling from the movies. The main thinking with the game was that we all had played 1942, we loved it to doomsday, but there were things that when we went online, we couldn't really get the same feeling as when we had played in the studio. Mainly the team play, playing together, move together, and all of that. And I think that was the whole reasoning behind the squad commander team play.
Was it also fun at getting the new weapons and the new vehicles and also the jet planes in there as well?
I had a flight sim background, always playing flight sims previously, and this kind of captured, to me, the best of flying. It's kind of quick takeoff, you go there, you dogfight, and you get to be the hero. We had a lot of sci-fi fans in the studio, and when the message came that we were to do it, everyone was standing in line.
Did 2142 give you more freedom? Because of course you could just make the guns up.
For 2142 we had to do everything from scratch.
What was the thinking behind Bad Company and putting a single player experience with a narrative in there?
We had the new hardware coming up with Xbox 360 and the PS3, delivering that while you were building an engine, while kind of building single player for the first time, and then to pull off the whole battlefield destruction that kind of became trademarked after that. It was very nice to make a game that rather made you laugh.
But you want to cut out that sir, yes sir crap? I'm a sergeant, not the goddamn president. Okay, sorry sir.
Are you excited about Battlefield 3 finally hitting the shelves and gamers being able to play it?
Hadn't I had long sleeves, you'd seen my goosebumps. No, I honestly am. The whole kind of everything we learned from console, from running gun, through the gun experience, destruction, you name it, single player, how you tell a good story. It all kind of gonna come up and be neatly wrapped up in something we call Battlefield 3.
5 seconds.
Well, that's it for this month's very special episode of Pwned at DICE here in Sweden.
We hope it's got you as excited as we are about the release of Battlefield 3 later this year. And don't forget to keep in touch with everything Battlefield related. Just go to battlefield.com/UK. We're back next month. Now, don't forget you can subscribe to us by clicking on the yellow subscribe box somewhere here, whereabouts.
In the meantime, feel free, or indeed obliged, to email us at pwned@ea.com.
You can tweet at us at twitter.com/electronicarts.
Or we've been known to hang around on Facebook at facebook.com/electronicartsuk.
We'll be back next month.
We'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye.